Hello. Welcome to Work at Will. My name is Derek Vidito. I am co-owner of this co-working spot that my beautiful wife and I have co-created. Broyny, you want to tell them who you are and a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I am Broyny Derek, co-owner of Work at Will, as you like to say, where we work, move, and thrive.
Yes.
And no, this was just a labor of love, I would say, 2 years in the making. And hey, we made it. We made it happen. We saw this to fruition.
Yeah. And so, I'm sure that people want to know and understand, how did we bet on ourselves? So, and what almost stopped us from doing it. So I guess that's how we'll kick it off with our first question is, what gave us the confidence to really bet on ourselves?
I think just because of our backgrounds, we're both professionals in our own right. With our different backgrounds of HR, corporate wellness, fitness, also being my background. And we just really put our heads together to really form something that both of our backgrounds could speak to and that we could contribute to as a whole. So this is essentially our baby.
Yeah, I agree. I think, one of the things that really attracted me to you when we first met was this passion and this grit and desire that you had. And I knew immediately that I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta get with that there, because it was a nice compliment to me in terms of, just my sports background and the mindset of always winning. Right. And so
you won the prize.
I won the prize. And so, so I got to bet on ourselves. And I think, us leaving corporate America to start this is really, really betting on ourselves. But no other person I'd rather do it with than you. Right?
I feel the same way. And I just feel like it was time, right?
Absolutely.
We worked so hard for other people, and I felt like we could work just as hard and be just as successful, if not more successful, if we were working for ourselves.
No doubt.
Building something for ourselves. So.
No doubt. So, at the beginning of this, of course, we come up with our business plan. We come up with the things that we want to achieve and accomplish. But ultimately, what does success look like for us? What would you say? You want to kick that one off?
Gosh, that is a great question. What does success look like for us? It looks like both of us thriving, both of us being in our wheelhouse, so to speak, right? As we like to throw around that term and use the term wheel, hence the name Work at Will, but really catering to our talents and catering to what we know to be success and doing that together, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I know a couple of operators out there who's done it by themselves. I have no idea how they've done it.
Right.
Because the labor and the work that's involved in this, I mean, it is a undertaking.
Yes, absolutely. I'm completely exhausted.
Well, that's why
on a daily basis.
That's why that recovery is important. Why I be getting you the massages. I be giving you the massages at home.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, while you watching TV, I be rubbing that neck, rubbing that back, hooking you up. You know what I mean? That's important, though. How
it is important.
How do you balance recovery after a long day's work? How do we balance?
How do we balance? Well, I think the first part is recognizing that you do need that balance and recognizing when you actually need to step away and when you need that moment of just recovery.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important to recognize that. And when you do recognize that, you got to take action and you got to do something about it, because if you're not at your best self, how can you give 100% to the business? How can you give 100% to yourself or to each other, for that matter?
I agree with that, because, I mean, you look at this past weekend, right? You had to take a day off just to get the house in order. And, I mean, I'm not saying that's your job at all, but you take pride in the way home is kept home. So
I was behind on laundry. I was behind on cleaning. I like to do my own cleaning. I know everyone's like, oh, just hire someone to come in and clean, but no one cleans like I do. And I take pride in that. And that's actually a way for me. That's like therapy for me.
Yeah.
To be able to clean and organize. So I actually enjoy it.
Well, I think we see some of them intangibles at work at will, right? That's why people come here and they say, wow, this place is clean, it's neat, I can see myself working there. It's because you take pride in making sure that the place looks good.
Yes, every little detail. I'm always wiping something down or picking up something off the floor. And I want to make sure that this place feels like home. And feeling like home means you're comfortable and you don't feel like you're just in a comfortable space.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the nitty gritty because I'm sure that's what people want to know. So how has marriage helped make this easier?
Well, I think it's good and it has some cons too.
Well, be careful. You know, I'm your husband. I'm your husband sitting over here, so be careful.
How has it made it easier? Well, I have access to you at all times.
Okay,
so I think that makes it easier where I can bounce ideas off of you. We could talk about things that need to be talked about immediately or, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So I have access to be able to communicate with you on whatever business matters that we have coming up.
Yeah. And I think it's also, I reflect on it, and I played, of course, football and sports growing up. But one thing that was always consistent was there was a common goal that we were out to try to achieve. And I think that you and I have put that common goal in terms of having a successful co-working space, right? That's built on wellness, built on productivity, built on people just coming in here and feeling good like they can work.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what's made it at least joyful from my lens is that we both have a passion. We take pride in this business opportunity and making sure that we're that we make sure it's going to be a success at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Right. We have no choice but to make it be a success.
Yeah. So the counter to that, Broyny, is how has marriage made it hard?
Oh. Yes.
What you mean? Oh.
Well,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
We have definitely had some trying times, just agreeing, right? And nothing, that would tear us down or tear the business down, but just learning to collaborate with one another in a different way, right? So we've collaborated just being a married couple, being a couple in general, but then throw in that work aspect or that business aspect. And, that's a different set of skills that we had to turn on because we've never had this particular dynamic before.
Yeah. And I think you bring it up. A good point is, look, we're both strong-minded, strong-headed. And so when we latch on to something or we have an opinion, we run with that opinion. And we often have to remember that we can't just go. Right? That we have to collaborate, we have to partner. And I would say for me, it's been godsend because it helps me to remain logical on certain things, right?
Logic, that is something that I mention all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, I tend to go ham in terms of the things that I want to do. I mean, when we first opened this place, I'm talking about let's do chirotherapy and we're gonna have a little dip pool where people can jump in the cold water and slow down.
You said you wanted a bike in every single room.
I wanted
a tree.
Hey, that still might come, but I think that you've balanced that out in me. And so although it's tough at times, especially being stern and in terms of decision making and want to do things my way, I think that you've balanced that out and really helped me to see the other side, helped me lean into collaboration. Yeah. So,
well, I'm going to turn it back on you. What pros have there been just being able to work together as a married couple and go into business together?
I think I see a lot of couples out here who don't talk, and you remember that time that we went to the restaurant, and I don't know if you remember that time, but there was an older couple, and they were just sitting there eating.
I remember that.
And they didn't talk at all. One of the things that this has created is our ability to communicate on an entirely different level. We can communicate. We can talk and shoot the breeze on a whole bunch of stuff, but to have a business conversation has been a delight from my standpoint. So I think that that's been one of the pros, if not at the highest level, just having a partner who thinks like I do, who can, when I'm frustrated, already when I'm frustrated, when I'm upset, all of those things. So to be able to be my balance has been one of the pros that I think is at the highlight. And then the other one, I just say, I know I tease you and say that, but you've come into your own. Like these people who walk up in here and they, immediately the mindset is, oh, Derek owns the place. He's the man, he owns the place. And you quick to shut that down. You hop up out your seat like, boom, I'm here. I own this. What's happening? You know what I mean? And you take them on a tour. And I told you the other day, how you talk about the business is just very profound. And I admire, your intellect when it comes to your business prowess.
Oh, well, thank you. I think it helps that what we're doing is something that I'm passionate about. And it's something that I believe in, that we believe in. And we're just going to see it through.
Yeah, yeah. So how do we shut it down, right? So
shut what down?
Well, you think about business just in general and the fact that we need to pour into ourselves and make sure that every conversation isn't a business conversation and that we're finding the time to separate business from being intentional about us, right? So how do we build in those moments to ensure that we're intentional about me and you and putting business to the back burner?
Yeah. Well, I think just what you said, just being intentional, just really making a point to put those things in place so that we are, in a way, keeping things separate, our relationship and then our business life. I know last night we were talking and, going back to just having access to you. I don't have to wait till the next work day to mention something about work. You're right there. And if I have an idea that comes to mind, I want to tell you about it. So it is a work in progress for me to be able to shut it on or turn it on, shut it off. But I think just us having that desire to do so, I think is a good start. And it's just going to take some time because not only is the business new, but our relationship as business owners together, it's just going to take some time.
Talk that talk. I would say that you are probably very, very passionate. And there's times when you come home and you still want to keep talking about business, just like last night. You want to bring up last night, like last night.
Last night.
And I was like, Broyny, it's 8:30. I said, it's time to shut down work talk. And let's, put that aside so that we can focus, so that we can, reset, so that we can show up at least the next day and be our best. You can't continue to talk work all night. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to drain you. Right? Thinking about all the things that you got to do the next day or the next week, that constant stuff on your mind is no good.
Yeah. And I think just continuing to hold ourselves accountable, holding one another accountable that, okay, just tell me, Broyny, okay, time to shut it off. Close the laptop. You got one more question? Okay, get it out. Speak your mind, write it down, record it, whatever it is. And let's give it a rest until the next day.
Yeah. So 2 more questions before we get out of here. One is Work at Will is built on movement, right? We talk about movement all the time. How important is movement, like beyond the gym? People hear movement and they think, oh, I got to get to the gym. I got to exercise. I got to get up and go run, a couple laps around the track. But that's not necessary. I mean, it's movement, but there's another way to reframe movement. So how, especially given your experience with corporate wellness and putting together corporate wellness programs, how are you seeing this term movement play out, and why is that very important for us at Work at Will?
Yeah, and I think what we are all coming to realize is that just exercising once a day just isn't enough, because once we leave here, we're in our cars, we're stuck in traffic, We're sitting most of the day. We're sitting in the car. We sit when we get home for a lot of us. So incorporating that movement, one of the things that I really miss about living in New York City is the fact that we walked everywhere.
Everywhere.
So I'm not getting that movement and that activity as much as I did previously. So again, I have to be intentional about that. But yeah, it's just not enough. We need to constantly move our body. That's what our bodies are built for, is for movement.
Yeah.
So what's the saying? If you don't use it, you lose it.
You lose.
So we start to get stiff, and just do as much as we can to keep our bodies moving, to remain mobile, to remain flexible.
Yeah.
As we get older, we're not as flexible as we once were.
Right.
So,
which is why I went and got me a little stretch certification. Who would have thought that I would have got me a doggone stretch certification to be teaching people how to stretch? But
yeah. How's that going for you?
It's going. It's going. I messed around and it's good. It's good. For me, it's the mental connection that you have, in being in the moment. So when you're stretching, not only are you working and stretching out your muscles and getting that squared away, but you're also able to free yourself from all of the things that happen in your day too. I mean,
release tension.
Relax.
Right?
There you go. Tension.
A lot of times we have that tension. As it's really ramped up being a business owner.
Yeah.
That tension that we, because there's so many things that we have to
stress,
worry about or think about. So it's so easy to build up that tension in the body.
Yeah.
So it's important to take that time for ourselves, and we need to lead by example.
No doubt. I mean, you even calculated how many laps around work at will is a mile.
Yes.
You got out here and walked around the offices, and you done figured out how many miles.
I
laps is a mile.
And 12 laps is a mile.
All right. So y'all hear that when you come in to visit work at will and go on your tour, ask for 12 times around, and you would have got a mile.
12 times around. Yeah, but we try to utilize the equipment too. Try not to sit behind the computer, behind our desk for long periods of time, but we really want it to be an environment where people feel comfortable and to stand up and to stretch and to move about the cabin a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I love about the concept that we brought.
Yeah. So last question, I guess, for both of us, right? This is interesting, me asking the questions and answering the questions, playing both roles. But that's cool. If we had to start over tomorrow, right, with everything that we know today, what would we do differently?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah. We'll thank Chat for that, because Chat come up with these great questions. I'm like, create some questions for a couple opening co-working business. And they,
wow.
So what would we do differently with everything we know today?
Gosh, I don't know. I think how we did it, I think we did our research.
Yeah.
But it's a continuous learning opportunity.
Absolutely.
So if we didn't start the way that we did, we wouldn't have learned what we did learn. And I think sometimes learning in the moment is the best way to learn, as opposed to thinking that you know everything beforehand. But I think a lot of times when you're actually in the thick of it and you're learning in the moment, that makes it for an even better experience and a better outcome.
Very profoundly stated. I don't really have nothing to piggyback on other than continuing to stay open to new ideas, new solutions, new concepts, all of those things, right? When you go in and this is my way, this is how it's going to be, that's where I think you get tripped up.
Yeah.
Look, we're new entrepreneurs, so we don't know what we don't know. So, but along the way, we're going to talk to the people. We're going to do this podcast. Hopefully, we'll be able to help them, not even just in the co-working space, but new entrepreneurs, especially, married couple. I mean, that's the one thing that we constantly hear is that, wow, y'all did this and y'all married. Y'all,
Right,
you know,
right.
I don't know if most married couples don't make it, but shoot,
Well, that's what they say.
that's what they say. But you know, I see another 13 years with you.
Yeah.
Well, we 13 or 14 this year. 14.
Yeah.
I see another 14 years with you,
Yeah.
right? So, being able to share our bumps and bruises with this audience and other people, I think I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's nothing I would change other than next time we know more to not have certain issues pop up on us that popped up. There's always going to be some things that we got to deal with.
And we knew that, right?
We knew that, yeah.
Yeah, we just didn't know what those issues would be. Yeah. But I say, too, give yourself some credit. I mean, you've had previous businesses, and maybe not to this scale, but we both have always had an entrepreneurial spirit.
Absolutely.
I know from my background, my siblings, I think that was instilled in me, always coming up with different ideas and that drive to see an idea come to fruition. So give yourself some credit. You're not a first-time entrepreneur.
No doubt. So, Broyny, as we get out of here, did you have anything else before we get out of here? I got one. I know I said I had a last question, but this is it right here.
This is the last question?
This is it here. You got anything before we get up out of here that you wanted to share? But my last question is just, well, I guess let me ask you that. You got anything you want to share before we get up out of here?
I don't, but aside from just more to come, I hope you all continue to listen, follow us. Not to toot our own horn, but we're a vibe, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask you, why should people come and visit Work at Will, consider private offices, consider being part of our community, whether it's, co-working membership, private office membership, or just getting a meeting room? Why should they consider Work at Will when they have so many other co-working spaces out here?
Yeah, just because we're different. Yeah. And how many places can you actually go into and you can meet the owners and sit and talk to them, chat them up, and just have that one-on-one connection.
Yeah.
I think that truly makes a big difference. Yeah. Being able to have that connection with our members. And a lot of times people will come in when they tour the space, and one of the things that they notice is how welcoming they feel. And I don't know how we created that. I guess that's just us and the vibe that we created for the space, but that people feel welcome and they feel at home and they feel like it's a place where they could thrive and work, be productive, and move, right?
Yeah. From my vantage point, I just think that we are reinventing the way that people work, right? We have really created a wellness and performance workspace, and you won't know it unless you walk through those doors.
That's right.
Right? You can see it online, you can say, wow, but until you actually walk through these doors, you're not going to actually feel what we've actually created. Mm-hmm. So,
and it's only going to get better. So we encourage all y'all out there to come in, tour, plan your visit. We'll be more than happy to have you at Work at Will, right? All right, Broyny. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure for our first one. This is one of many more to come, but how can people reach us as we get out? They can reach us on all the socials at Work at Will and workatwill.com.
Yeah.
And they can call. They can see us act up on TikTok, and Instagram.
And everything else. Or they can come to Rock Hill, South Carolina, where Work at Will is, right?
Right. That's right.
Absolutely.
We are here.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Work, move, thrive.